Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say absolutely nothing at all? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into, the act of choosing final silence. And we're going to see how it's not about weakness, but actually a profound act of self-respect and, well, transformation. Just let that sink in for a second. Silence, that echoes. That is the entire idea we're unpacking today, how the total absence of your words can end up creating the most deafening sound they'll ever hear. And really, this whole thing kicks off because of one huge miscalculation. See, they looked at your patience, your kindness, and they didn't see it for what it was, a gift. Nope. They saw it as something they were entitled to, like it was their right to have it. Okay, so let's start with what happens right after. Section 1, the shock of silence. I want you to imagine being on the other side of this. The person who wakes up one day and their entire world has just gone completely quiet. See, their whole reality was built on a foundation of really flawed ideas. They thought you were predictable. They were absolutely sure you would always come back. They believed your patience was just this bottomless well they could draw from forever. And the big one? They thought you would stay, no matter how they treated you. This wasn't just a simple mistake. This was the very bedrock of their comfort. And this is where they got it so wrong. In their mind, you were just another person, replaceable. The reality, they were dealing with someone incredibly rare. They mistook a diamond for a common stone, and that mistake, well, it's about to cost them dearly. And that right there, that's the gut punch. The one constant in their life, their emotional safety net, it's just gone, vanished. They took it for granted that you'd always be there, but now you're not. Not just for a little while, for good. The one thing they thought was predictable has just become completely unthinkable. So while they're over there completely reeling from the shock, what's happening on your side? Well, that brings us to section 2, the choice for peace. This is where we get to understand why silence becomes the only logical answer. And spoiler alert, it's not about giving up. It's about taking your power back. This is so important to get. A person's final, lasting silence, it's never an impulse decision. It's the end result of 1,000 tiny cuts, 1,000 moments of effort that went completely unseen. It's the weight of all those disappointments finally becoming just too heavy to carry. So what even is this true silence we're talking about? Well, it's not giving someone the silent treatment out of anger. The sources define it as something born from pure clarity. It's that moment where your own self-respect finally outweighs the connection itself. It's not about a lack of love, it's about the presence of dignity. I just love this way of putting it because it's so perfect. It's that moment when a heart, after knocking and getting no answer, finally just stops. It accepts the door is locked, and it walks away to save its own energy. All right, so you've made your choice, you've chosen peace. But what's going on in that space you left behind? That leads us right into section 3, when absence becomes presence. This is where the quiet you created for yourself starts to become a deafening roar for them. And this realization, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow burn. At first, they just ignore it. They think, they'll be back. Then, a little bit of doubt starts to creep in. That doubt turns into actual worry. As the silence stretches on, that worry explodes into genuine fear. And then finally, it hits them. The full, crushing weight of what they've lost finally lands. And this is when they start digging through the archives, right? They're desperately searching for you in the only place you exist for them now, the past. They're scrolling through old texts, rereading everything, finally seeing all the effort they just brushed aside. They're looking for the person they took for granted, but that person is just a memory now. And here is the beautiful, tragic irony of it all. Suddenly, now that it's gone, your presence seems priceless. The attention they barely even noticed before now feels completely irreplaceable. Your value becomes crystal clear, but only after you're gone. Okay, but let's be real, enough about them. Let's turn the focus back where it belongs, on you. Because while they're getting lost in the echo of what they lost, you're finding yourself in the quiet. This is section 4, growth in the quiet. This is all about what you build in that space you so bravely cleared out for yourself. And here's the thing. They probably had this whole other story written in their head. They pictured you heartbroken, just waiting by the phone, hurting. But the reality? It was so different. You weren't waiting, you were evolving. You were growing. And let's get this perfectly clear. This whole transformation, It was never about finding a replacement for them. It was about becoming a replacement for the old version of you. You filled that empty space, not with a new person, but with a stronger, better version of yourself. And you can actually feel this evolution happen. Once all that chaos is gone, your mind just gets clearer. Your heart feels lighter. All that energy you were pouring into that closed door, you get to pour it back into your own dreams. And maybe the best part? Your standards rise. You start choosing people who actually choose you back. You find clarity in the exact place where chaos used to live. So, where does all of this lead? What's the final takeaway? That brings us to our last and most powerful section, the loudest lesson. This is about the permanent mark you leave not just on them, but on the rest of your own life too. When you really boil it all down, it comes to this simple, unavoidable truth. After all the conversations, all the explaining, maybe even all the pleading, none of it got through. But your silence, your absence, that was the lesson that finally landed. The one your words never could teach. And this is what happens. When you get to a place where you don't need someone else to feel whole, you become unforgettable. That powerful act of becoming complete all on your own, that's what creates a regret in others that can last a lifetime. Remember that echo we talked about at the very beginning? This is it. By walking away with your dignity intact, you don't just leave a hole, you leave a standard. You become this haunting comparison for every single person who comes after, a benchmark of what true connection looks like and what they let slip away. So, I guess I'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. In a world that is always so loud, always demanding a response, an explanation, what if the most powerful, the most profound thing you can ever say is nothing at all?